Aren't you gonna say hello?
So with this next story, there are two versions. Now I really like the way they did the new version, but I like the villain in the old version better. So we're gonna combine the two. Here's It, Chapter 1.
Welcome to the Losers Club!
So we meet Georgie, who wants his big brother Bill to go outside with him and play in the rain. But Bill is sick, so he makes him a paper boat to get him to leave him alone.
Go bug somebody else, you little cootie. I don't feel so hot.
Outside, Georgie's chasing the boat when he loses it down a storm drain, and then immediately thinks that his brother is going to be mad at him for losing something that he made in like 5 minutes. But just before he goes to leave, a clown pops up.
Hi, Georgie.
And instead of getting the fuck out of there, he stupidly talks to him. The sewer clown introduces himself as Pennywise and offers to give him his boat back, but for some reason won't just hand it to him.
Why is it so mean?
So Georgie, fearing the wrath of someone who went out of their way to help him when they weren't feeling well, puts his arm down to the clown, who bites it off, and he dies.
When you're down here with me, you float down!
Months later, school's out for the summer, and Bill meets up with his friends, Richie, Stan, and Eddie, who talk about where they're gonna look for Georgie next.
But you said he died.
Yeah, but they don't know that, since the clown took his body down the sewer.
It smells!
Yeah, it does.
And some other kids have gone missing since then, so they could all be doing some Peter Pan Never Never Land shit out in the woods.
It's alright, have a good time, 'cause it's alright.
But while they're talking, the school bully, Henry Bowers, and his friends Belch, Vinny, and Hockstetter start messing with him. At least until Henry sees his dad and is like, "You win this round, but I'm gonna beat you up all summer break instead."
You young ruffian!
And at the same time, this chick Beverly is having wet trash dumped on her while she's smoking in the bathroom instead of going home. And when she gets outside, this kid bends in her way. And even though she smells like nasty bathroom trash, because she's nice to him, he instantly gets a crush on her.
You look great, you smell great.
When Bill gets home, his dad's pissed off that this 12-year-old doesn't want to believe that his missing brother is dead and yells at him for it. But Bill's determined to find Georgie, so he and his friends start looking in the barrens. See, his dad works for the Public Works Department and has detailed diagrams of the plumbing of the city, so he used hamster tunnels to figure out where Georgie would have been swept to, and he thinks that he's just been sitting in a puddle for 8 months waiting for somebody to find him.
Don't try and make this about the right thing to do. You just want to go back there and see if there's something nasty at the end of that pipe.
While they're there, they find one of the kids' missing shoes, whose mom conveniently wrote their name in it, but before they can look any further, Ben shows up, bleeding, terrified, and out of breath, and not from being overweight.
He's leaking hamburger helper!
He was leaving the library when Henry and his minions grabbed him, and then Henry started carving his name into Ben's stomach until he fought back and ran away.
I gotta go!
Go!
And nobody saw anything right outside of a library.
Well, actually, somebody did drive by, but they did not give one hint of a shit.
I was crying. I thought he was gonna help me, but instead he just made fun of me.
You're dead, fat boy.
But Ben got away because Henry lost his knife, and now these kids are going to help him. Hockstetter gets to where they were and voluntarily goes into the sewer to look for Ben. Thinking he's going to set Ben on fire, he runs into some zombies and then the sewer clown, and then he dies.
We're not playing hide and seek, dipshit.
And then they're going to go to the cops and tell them about the attack and that they found a missing kid's shoe, right?
No. Since Eddie's mom's a hypochondriac nutbag, Eddie knows all about how to treat a wound. So he, Bill, and Stan go into the drugstore to get supplies. But they don't have any money, and Eddie can't put it on his mom's account because then she'll think there's something wrong with him.
You know how delicate he is.
There are also giant pussies who are afraid of a little shoplifting, but they run into Bev, who seems like she's kind of used to it. She distracts the old pervy pharmacist by flirting with him, while they take the crap. And then she meets back up with him, and Bill invites her to go swim with them in the quarry tomorrow to thank her.
I hope it's okay. I mean, she's a girl.
The next day, when she gets there, they're all too big of pussies to jump in, so she does first, and now they have to do it, or their dicks will fall off or some shit.
What the fuck does that mean?
And after they swim, they just hang around in their underwear until they start looking at Ben's Derry research, which he brought with him to go swimming.
That was like $3, so be careful with that, please.
He then tells him that Derry's a fucked up place to live, and invites him to his house, so he can show him all the murdery stuff he has plastered on his bedroom walls.
Well, I love what he's done with the place.
This stuff seems to happen every 27 years.
Later on, when Bev gets home, she finds a postcard with a poem on it in her bag. She takes it to the bathroom to stare at it and fantasize about who sent it to her. And that's when she hears a voice in her sink.
I just wanted to say hello.
When she goes to check it out, for some reason she decides to measure it.
You guys are lucky you're not measuring dicks.
But then, the sink starts spitting out more blood than an entire feminine hygiene aisle could ever handle.
You're sink went on Eddie's mom's vagina on Halloween.
Because she's screaming, her dad comes in, but doesn't see anything. And to prove she's not crazy, the next day, she has the guys come over to check it out. And they can see it, so they help her clean it up.
You're a sloppy bitch!
And when they're going back to the Barrens, it comes out that she isn't the only one who's seen weird shit. But before they can talk about it, they see Butch's car, and this kid Mike's bike. And Bev's all, we have to help him out. And the five guys have to follow, because of course if they don't, their dicks will fall off.
Holy shit! We just got shot up by a girl.
We have to do that now?
So they get down to the creek and start throwing rocks at the bullies to make them let Mike go. They manage to win and are like, hey, you want to be our friend? And since he's homeschooled and doesn't have any friends, he's like, okay. So Ben invites them all to a clubhouse he's been making.
Cool, huh? No, nothing cool.
On the 4th of July, they hang out, and even though they just met Mike and were afraid to talk about the crap they've seen with their best friends, they freely talk about the crap they've seen with this kid they just met.
So now we know each other.
But he comes up with the idea that their fears are being used against them, and they realize that that makes sense. Mike sees fires because his parents were killed in one. Bill sees Georgie since he feels responsible for his death. Stan sees the creepy painting he's always been afraid of come to life, then saw a headless guy because he just saw a picture of a head in a tree, and Bev sees blood because she's worried that puberty will change her relationship with her dad.
A little young for you, isn't she?
Well, what about Richie?
Oh, he still hasn't seen anything, but it turns out he's afraid of clowns, so Pennywise just probably thinks he'll be easy.
Beat, Richie.
I think I just shit my pants.
But they get some slides from the library to see if there's a geographical connection to the killings, and they realize that they're all connected by the sewers.
Wouldn't everything be connected by the sewers?
Anywhere that has plumbing, yes. But they find out that the central location for the sewers is the old well house, a place where a bunch of murdered pioneers' clothes were found, and some idiot built a house right on top of it.
I can't imagine anything ever wanting to live there.
But Pennywise apparently doesn't like them talking about this and starts showing up in their pictures. He comes at them and is about to get Bev when Mike and Ben open the garage door and he fucks off.
Why?
Well, it's not dark in there anymore.
So, he showed up in sunlight before. He's not a vampire.
Well, it doesn't look like it.
Shut up. He scared him and then fucked off because that's what he does. Well, for the main characters at least.
Exactly.
But Bill's all, we know where he is. Let's go get him. And everyone else is like, that's stupid. But he goes anyway, so everyone else follows.
We have to help him. Should? Yes.
So now, because Bill's an impulsive jerk, they're going into a supernatural murder clown's lair without any plan, preparation, or weapons.
It's your fault.
Don't be a wuss.
I mean, this is America in the 80s. You probably could have got a gun at the 4th of July parade.
That's not saying much.
But Stan mentions that some of them should stay outside in case they need help. And when asked, all 5 of the other guys want to be the ones to stay outside. So they draw straws, and somehow Bev, who was the only other one to volunteer to go in, stays outside, while Eddie and Richie go with Bill. Richie immediately freaks the fuck out, and for some reason, his frantic screaming doesn't cause the other ones waiting outside to come in and check on him.
Are you fucking kidding me, Mike?
But Bill's able to convince him that what was freaking him out wasn't real, so they start checking out the house. But they stupidly split up, and Richie ends up in a room full of creepy clown dolls and is attacked by Pennywise. But he manages to get away because the supernatural being hasn't figured out how to open doors.
Hush, don't pull you, moron.
He meets back up with Bill, and they realize Eddie's missing too. They find him downstairs with a broken arm, and he's about to be eaten by Pennywise. But he decides to go after Bill instead, and then Bev comes in and stabs him in the face.
This is a little inconvenient.
Why didn't she come in before?
Well, she was probably waiting for the most intense moment, but the others run in, and even though these kids are still clearly terrified of him, he fucks off.
I'll kill you all. I'll drive you crazy and I'll kill you all.
But he does get one good swipe at Ben's stomach first. And it's a good thing it was Ben and not one of the skinny kids, because they would have had some serious organ damage.
It's only my liver, lungs, prostate, and brain. All things I can live without.
They take Eddie home, where his mom loses her shit. But Bill's like, great first attempt, guys. Ready for round 2? And everyone but Bev is like, fuck that. We're out. So Bill punches Richie in the face. And then while walking Bev home, he's like, maybe they have a point. But of course, he doesn't bother to go tell one of his best friends that he's sorry for punching him, so they just all stop being friends.
Motherfucker, you're the world's worst friend.
Then one day in August, Henry, Vince, and Belch are hanging out trying to shoot a cat, you know, like you do. But Henry's dad sees him, takes the gun, and starts shooting at Henry's feet. Henry's like peeing himself scared, but then he sees a balloon on his mailbox, and when he checks it, the knife that he lost attacking Ben's inside. So he does the obvious thing, and goes inside and kills his dad. But while that's happening, Bev's dad found the stupid postcard poem, poem and thinks his daughter is a dirty slut, and she's like, hey, that's my terrible love poem, and kicks him in the nuts and then in the face and locks herself in the bathroom.
Why didn't she just run outside?
Oh, his creepy ass locked her inside the apartment, but he busts the door open, so she knocks him the fuck out with the toilet. But then she turns to find Pennywise. Since they were supposed to meet up, and Bev didn't show, he goes over to her place and sees her apartment door wide open. It looks like her dad's dead, and there's a message written on the wall.
You'll die if you try.
So he goes to tell the others.
Well, how did he get her out?
Well, he could have taken her out of the apartment, down the stairs, and into a sewer drain in broad daylight, or he can somehow move through the bathroom plumbing.
Drains the size of the hall and tunnel.
But was nice enough to unlock the front door for Bill.
Why would you do that?
But however she got there, she's in the well house and wakes up to see hundreds of bodies. Pennywise comes at her, but she's like, I'm not afraid of you. So he flashes her, and she floats up with all the corpses.
So she's dead?
No, she's just catatonic and floating. See, Pennywise wants people to be afraid. His fear's like seasoning. It makes them taste better.
You all taste so much better when you're afraid.
But Bill gets everyone together, and this time they're smart enough to grab a few weapons.
I don't suppose anybody thought to bring anything really useful like a machine gun.
They all stress that they have to stay together, otherwise they're gonna die. So they go in and down the well, with Bill going first and Mike going last. But before he can go down, Henry shows up. They fight, and Henry almost kills him, but Mike hits him with a brick and pushes him down the well.
And he dies.
No, he'll be fine. But while Mike's climbing down to him, Stan hears something creepy and wanders off. And it takes them a ridiculously long time for them to realize that he's missing. But when they go to look for him, they find the creepy painting lady eating his face.
So Stan's dead?
No, he's fine. They just look at her like a dog holding a shoe and like, drop it, and the painting lady just fucks off.
He did it.
That's a good boy.
But Stan blames them for leaving him instead of thinking, wow, I was an idiot for wandering off in the dark by myself. But while Stan's freaking the fuck out, Bill sees Georgie and wanders off on his own.
He totally fell for it.
And Georgie takes him right to where Bev is, and Bill ignores her to go after Georgie. But luckily, the others come in, and Mike lifts Ben, the fattest one, to grab her.
What a porker.
But she won't wake up, even when they scream at her and shake her. So Ben kisses her unconscious body, and it works. And this makes the others super uncomfortable. But it does make Bev realize that he's the one who wrote the crappy poem.
I love you like a brother.
They catch up to Bill, who's listening to Georgie beg his big brother to take him home. So Bill shoots him in the head.
What? I mean, I know you're going to tell me it's not really Georgie. But if Bev is still alive, then Bill's got to think there's a chance.
Well, it's been 10 months since Georgie went missing. It's a pretty safe bet, especially since he had his arm ripped off.
Pulled one of his arms right off, just like a wing off a fly.
But Georgie turns into Pennywise, and he spins some of them around, bitch slaps Mike, and grabs Bill. He offers to leave the rest of them alone if they leave Bill behind, but Richie isn't having any of that shit, and they work as a team this time to beat the shit out of him.
We did it! We!
Yeah! Yes! Yeah!
They're all like, haha, you're gonna starve to death because you didn't get us. And he falls down yet another well.
Kill me! Oh, you are priceless, rat.
A month later, they're all hanging out in the field, and we find out that Pennywise flashing Bev gave her some weird glimpse into the future, and she saw them all back in the well house when they're older. So Bill makes them promise that if the killer clown comes back, that they will too.
But they know the cycle. So why don't they just all agree to come back in 27 years?
Yeah, Pennywise is dead. They can just have a Losers Club reunion. But they don't think about that, and instead, all cut their palms to make a blood pact.
You guys know that there's an AIDS epidemic happening right now as we speak, right?
And that is absolutely all they do. Except Bill kisses Bev to say goodbye since she's moving.
Yuck. You've got cooties all over me.
But it doesn't go any further than that. Bad, Stephen King. Bad.
She is a child.
You are an awful man. You are truly a disappointment to us all.
I didn't like the ending.
Why are you guys anywhere?
We're sort of a club.
Yeah, the Losers Club.
You want in?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Oh, come back anytime. Bring your friends.
Welcome to the Losers Club, asshole!
You got the right stuff, baby.
See you later. Bye.